Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 31st. Happy Halloween to everybody out there, and taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery as we speak. You can see we got some very cold air aloft around the region. We got precipitation ongoing, thunderstorms along the coastline. We have some windy conditions rolling in tomorrow. We're going to go over that in some detail, and even east of the Cascades as we go through the afternoon here on Halloween. We're going to be dealing with some precipitation. We'll check out those details as well. We'll take a look at the extended forecast as always as we go through the video here this morning, taking a look at where we are right now. Now, if you look off the Oregon coast and even the Washington coast, there are some active thunderstorms as we speak, and you can see this cold air is going to be moving in as we go on in through the day today. And then tomorrow, we're going to have a little bit of a low pressure system spinning up right off the coastline here. It's going to bring a pretty decent pressure gradient with it. It's going to bring windy conditions to the Oregon coast, Willamette Valley, and potentially into some portions of southwest Washington as we go through the day tomorrow, Friday. And actually, it's going to start up in the morning hours. I'll show you that here in a moment in the weather models. But take a look at what happened very early this morning. Actually, special marine warning here, a possible water spout that cell out there. Just kind of showing you there is some turning in the atmosphere with some of these cells. This one did not get close enough to the coast to warn places like La Push or anything like that, but just kind of a precursor of some of the showery activity up the Washington, Oregon coast as we go through the day today. And just a reminder, I'm putting up updates on Blue Sky. Check it out. You can download it free on your app, and I will be putting those out there on Blue Sky here. And a lot less ads than X, and a lot of weather junkies like myself are now over there. So check that out. Now, taking a look at Seattle yesterday, 51 degrees, 56 the average high for this time of year, 23/100 of an inch. More rain is incoming today. We'll see how close we can get to 3 inches. Can we exceed that? We averaged close to 4 inches for the month of October. We ended up the month a little bit above average as far as the observed highs and the observed lows here. So a little bit warmer than normal for the month of October. Looking at the Halloween forecast. Now, if we take a look at places like, let's go down to Spokane, you can see not too bad. I mean, there might be some showery activity out there, but it's not too bad. It's generally 50-50 or less for almost every single area. Picks up a little bit here as we go towards the midnight hour, but it shouldn't be a washout for eastern Washington. Eastern Oregon, a little bit different. If you see on the right here, you're talking about the Dalles, you're looking at Pendleton, you're looking at better than 50% chances showing up. You can see Ellensburg even 50-50, and that was updated today, Thursday, October 31st. Now, we've got snow in the Cascades coming up here as well. The Portland National Weather Service talking about that, kind of showing you the most likely scenario here on the left versus the high-end snowfall here on the right. But yeah, be prepared for winter driving conditions. More on that here in a moment. And I wanted to show Medford National Weather Service. Look at this high surf advisory for the southwest Oregon coastline. There's some fog advisories. Winter storm warnings are in effect for portions of the Oregon Cascades. Winter weather advisories as well. All kinds of stuff. Very stormy situation unfolding here for much of Oregon, including some of the Willamette Valley. And if we take a look at that high surf advisory, look at this large breaking waves, 23 to 26 feet. This goes through 11 a.m. today till 5 a.m. Friday. So watch out if you are along the coastal areas, especially of Oregon. Washington's going to increase the wave activity here as we go through the day as well. Beach erosion possible, and exposed infrastructure may be damaged. Now let's take a look at what last night's European model says. Here we go through the morning hours as we go through the day today. You can see this precipitation will be coming in waves here, showery activity for the Oregon and Washington coast. And we start to spread some of that, especially across eastern Oregon as we go for the trick-or-treating tonight. And you can see there's probably going to be precipitation falling much of the time across the Willamette Valley, and kind of a pretty sharp cutoff there, it looks like, but that should be spreading northward as we go through the evening across western Washington as well. You see the low pressure system continuing to spin this activity back into the areas we go through tonight. Here we go through Friday morning, and there's going to be another low pressure system kind of developing here, a tight pressure gradient here to the south, and we're going to be bringing some heavy rainfall rates. We're going to be bringing the strong winds and even potential some flooding for some of the coastal range here. Some very heavy precipitation, especially across southwest Oregon, as that system finally moves through. We keep that showery weather going all the way on in through this weekend coming up. And then we've got another strong low moving up towards Haida Gwaii or the Queen Charlotte's north of Vancouver Island. Another frontal system will be rolling through as we go through the early portion of next week. So we're going to remain active here as well. Now, taking a look at what's going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we've got this kind of polar lobe hanging out, and we're going to get that development here as we go through Friday morning, and that's what's going to kick up some of these windy conditions at the surface. More on that here in a moment. That system will slide through, and then we've got another round that'll be coming through again early next week. So looking at composite reflectivity, this is what the Doppler radar may look like here over the next 60 hours or so. Here we go through this morning. You see just the persistent showery activity along the coast, Willamette Valley, there's precipitation. We're moving over the area here as we go out towards about trick-or-treating time. There's about 7 p.m. You can kind of see what the NAM predicts there. And then we've got this next low developing as we go through Friday morning here. And you can see additional frontal system rolling through, precipitation widespread here across the Pacific Northwest as we go on into the day of Friday. Let me update that because I believe we have all this information now, and we do. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll back to where we were and play through that. But yeah, we're going to have some showery weather all the way through this weekend. Now, taking a look at the high resolution rapid refresh. So this is lightning flash density potential for today. And you can see, again, multiple rounds of thunderstorms are possible. These are kind of the one and done type. So you're not going to get, severe weather out of any one of these individual cells. And unless the very rare case that one of these produces a brief and weak tornado along some of the coastal areas. You saw, as I mentioned earlier, there was that one for the water spout off the Washington coast. So there is some turning possible with this, but this is not a widespread severe weather outbreak by any means. But we do have that lightning threat as we go all the way on into tomorrow and perhaps across some of the Willamette Valley and even western Washington as we go through the day Friday. We'll revisit that again tomorrow morning as well. Now, as far as wind gusts are concerned, this is the North American high resolution model. We scroll through the day today. You can see some blustery conditions there for the Oregon coast, Willamette Valley as we go through the day today with that showery activity. But watch what happens with this low pressure system development as we go into very early Friday morning. It's about 4 a.m. Look at the wind really pick up on the Oregon coast. Continues as we go through about 7 a.m., 8, 9, 10, 11. There's noon right there. And you can see the Willamette Valley gusting, some of southwest Washington up towards 40 miles per hour. But look at the Oregon coast. Gusts up over 50, 55 miles per hour with this little low pressure system and a powerful pressure gradient to the south of that. And some of that tries to creep up the I-5 corridor towards Chehalis, but doesn't quite make it towards Olympia, Tacoma, or Seattle, at least not on the North American model. I'm going to show you some more on that here in a moment. But again, the strongest winds along the coast. Now let's take a look at the European and kind of compare that. You can see as I scroll through the day Friday, it keeps the strongest winds on the coast, but some of these gusts do get up over 40 miles per hour for the Willamette Valley and some gusty winds across the higher terrain of Oregon as we go on into Friday afternoon. Now, if we take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh, I'm just throwing out all kinds of data for you, but I want to show you the potential coming up with this windy system. Look at that for the Oregon coast as we go through very early Friday morning. And some of these gusts across some of the Willamette Valley are showing up towards or even over 50 miles per hour. And the high resolution rapid refresh shows pretty gusty winds for Tacoma and Olympia as well. Doesn't quite reach Seattle. I mean, gusts into the lower 30s there, but you could see pretty good agreement for a very windy period coming and the potential for some stronger winds for the Willamette Valley as we go on into tomorrow morning and during the day tomorrow. And I'll show you one playthrough here on the low pressure system here as we go on into Thursday night. Then we go into Friday morning. You can see that low develop and that strong pressure gradient there. That is what's causing that wind. Not a very strong low, but of course the proximity of it and the pressure gradient is what makes the difference. Now, I checked this station here out on Cannon Beach. And look at this. They're detecting lightning here this morning. Very fun weather station. Stores all this data for you in the cloud. Heavy rain is currently falling. It's got a great smartphone app. So if you want one of these, click on that link down below to save 10% off. Now we've got also snowfall to talk about. I'm going to scroll through the day today. And as we go on through tonight, tomorrow, you can see some pretty decent snowfall amounts showing up across the Cascades and Oregon as we go on and through this weekend. And then who knows what's going to come after that. We'll wait for that as we go through next week. But you can see, prepare for winter driving conditions when you're going up above 4,000, 4,500 feet especially, and even Snoqualmie Pass at 3,000 feet is likely to get some snowfall out of this. And even the National Weather Service Seattle is mentioning that 1 to 2 inches as you go through Saturday morning for Snoqualmie Pass. Stevens Pass, higher amounts. That's Highway 2. It comes out of Everett, and Gold Bar's right there, 4 to 6 inches for Stevens Pass. Nice coating coming for the Olympic Mountains as well. And of course, you can see White Pass down here at 8 to 12 inches. Now, if we take a look a bit further east, you can see, again, it's going to be higher terrain. We're not looking at snowfall down into the lower elevations or anything like that. But you can see Lookout Pass on I-90 forecasting 3 to 4 inches. Now, total precipitation in inches on the European model. I mean, of course, we're just going to be bombarded with this repeated shower activity. Then that low pressure system develops and just brings a really heavy precipitation into Oregon. Some of these places pushing 3-4 inches as we go on in through Saturday morning about 5 a.m. right here. Seattle maybe up over an inch. Look at Portland approaching 2 inches. Some of the Willamette Valley, the Cascades. So very stormy period. Big surf on the coast, big winds, lightning potential. There's even weak tornado potential along some of the coastal regions as well, as I mentioned. Now looking at maximum individual wave height, so this is why they have the high surf advisory for some of the Oregon coast. But you can see the wave action also increasing as we go through this morning and today for Vancouver Island, Washington coast. If you are out on the coastal areas, be prepared for that. Do not turn your back on the ocean. These waves are going to mean business, especially across the Oregon coast as you go through tonight. And then we scroll up into the future here. And as we continue some of the storm activity, we're going to get the increase in wave activity maybe through early next week also. Now, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, kind of near normal here, showing up below normal across the southwest, below normal here across the west coast. You take these with a grain of salt, though. These storm systems, seem to change almost run to run in some of these weather models. So we'll be breaking that down day by day. Take with a grain of salt. And if we take a look at the GFS as of last night, the 16-day precipitation anomaly. Remember yesterday's was basically the opposite of this, at much below average here for the Pacific Northwest. So again, you kind of take things with a grain of salt as you start to look out too far into the future. Here's the European Artificial Intelligence. Continues to show some strong storms in the fantasy forecast, but mainly staying north of the Pacific Northwest. We'll continue to watch that, and anytime anything starts to become more consistent in the weather models, you will hear it here first. And this is the 15-day precipitation anomaly, and you can kind of see it points to an above average precipitation total as we go through the mid portion of November. But yeah, anyway, stormy conditions. Good luck out there trick-or-treating, anyone with kids. What else? I guess we will break this all down tomorrow. Check back on Blue Sky for any updates today, and I will talk to you guys later.